as you care for me.
What's up guys, it's Anthony. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. If you are, my name's Anthony, obviously. I make a lot of lifestyle content, stuff about the film industry, stuff about film school, like student stuff like that. So if you like that content, you should subscribe because a lot of my viewers are unsubscribed. So let's change that and hit the subscribe button down below because my content, I feel like it's some of the best. But I digress. Anyways, today is the first video of my college draft series. Yeah. I actually have my like SC shirt on to celebrate. This is actually my first like USC merch. That's like clothes I got when I first toured, and like I was like bawling my eyes out. I mean like bawling my eyes out. But let's get back to the video. Today I'm going to share with you guys how I got into USC School of Cinematic Arts. And I'm really excited, I'm really proud because it's an accomplishment. My major alone has a 3% acceptance rate, so I feel like I should be proud. I am proud. But let's stop rambling so we can get right onto this video so you guys can also be fellow Trojans. Fellow Trojans, fight on. So I'm gonna start off by listing all the colleges I applied to, if I got accepted or rejected, and then also put an asterisk by it to show if I had to submit a portfolio for it or not. So I applied to UNC School of the Arts, DePaul University, Chapman University, Loyola Marymount University, UCLA, and University of Southern California. I make it very clear I wanted to be in California for school, but I got into every school except for UCLA and UNC School of the Arts, and pretty much every school required a portfolio except for Loyola Marymount, and DePaul was optional, but anytime they say optional, that means submitted. So yeah, that's just a little bit like my college process. I didn't apply to too many schools. I was going to apply to some more New York schools, things like that. I just felt like after I submitted my USC portfolio that the schools I just listed were some of my better options and schools that I was really excited to attend. And I was just thinking like for me to attend a New York school over a California school, they would have to give me a full ride, which I didn't think my academics were strong enough for that. So I just kind of cut it off at December, especially considering I'm an IB diploma student, which actually let's get into. Here are some facts about me and things that are kind of important and relevant to me getting to USC, but also just background information that you need to know for like the rest of the video. So my major is writing for screen and television at the School of Cinematic Arts. This major does require a portfolio and a Common App application to it. So you have your regular Common App application and you also have the portfolio requirements. How USC does their admissions with schools like School of Cinematic Arts, Architecture School, School of Dance, School of Music, things like that. You have to get into the university itself, but also your intended school and your intended major. I have to get into USC, but then also the School of Cinematic Arts as well. So if you don't get into either or, you have to get into both. If you get into one or the other, you can't attend. So like I said, I think it's a pretty big accomplishment. Like it's crazy. There's only 30 students for my major. So that's my major. The portfolio requirements I had were a character sketch, which was technically like a second personal statement for the School of Cinematic Arts. I had to write 2 short scenes, describe one of my most challenging moments, a commitment prompt, which essentially was just me talking about why I want to be a writer, when did I start writing, and what keeps me writing, a sample story, and then also a portfolio list of things that I've done or like worked on. If you guys want, I can make an entire separate video about portfolio requirements and like tips for that. I do know like screenwriting and like applying to school for screenwriting is a very niche thing, so I didn't want to divulge all the information into this one video for people that are just trying to get into like USD and like, you know, see stats, things like that. But I can do an entire video about portfolio requirements, things like that. For some like demographics and like more basic information, I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I went to a decently competitive high school, I would say. The honors program definitely is a lot more competitive than the rest of the population, but it definitely was a competitive high school. And then I also am an IB full diploma candidate, so that essentially just means I've taken 7 IB courses and I started that process in my junior year. And then I test at the end of my senior year for college credits. So that's essentially what IB diploma is. I did IB diploma one simply because I didn't see a lot of black people doing it, but then also I wanted to be a more competitive applicant. I knew that I didn't have the best academics compared to my high school. So I wanted to just add a little bit extra to my application. If IB diploma is not on your radar or you don't think you can handle IB diploma, don't do it. But I honestly loved it. It was a hard experience. There's a lot of things that I learned out of it, and there's a lot of transferable skills that I learned from IB diploma that I'm gonna be able to take with me to college. Like time management, triaging, prioritizing, things like that. So definitely do it if you're looking into it. But if you're not really looking into that harsh senior year, harsh junior year thing, definitely don't do it. All right, so next up, we're gonna talk about my school stats, like academics, test scores, things like that. All of it, okay? For GPA, my school does not do a 4.0 scale, so I do a 100-point scale. So I'll just give you my 100-point scale, and you can always go and like find a 100-point scale to 4.0 scale to kind of see like where I fall in there. So my unweighted GPA was a 95. My weighted GPA was a 91. I'm also part of the top 15% of my class. Like I said, I feel like that's good, but like I said, for my competitive high school, and I knew there was other people applying to my school, I knew that my academics weren't probably not the strongest. I don't know, I could be like it could be imposter syndrome, but I feel like my academics could have been a little bit better. So I'm gonna put across the screen all the courses I've taken in the past 4 years, but we work on a block schedule, so I take 8 classes a year, and then I rotate each day between 4 classes. So I have A-Day, I take 4 classes, and I have B-Day where I take 4 classes, and then they rotate back and forth for the rest of the school year. And then I took 3 APs, and then like I said, since I'm IB diploma, I've taken 7 IB classes. Honestly, I prefer IB over AP any day. So if you ever ask me about IB or AP, definitely do IB. And then also IB technically is stronger, they say, for applications, but it's all about what your school offers. So I would just look at what your school offers, take the classes that you're strongest in like a higher level. So if you're strong in English and literature, I would definitely consider taking AP Lit, AP Lang. If you're strong in math, definitely consider taking IB Math or AP Calc, things like that. For test scores, I did not submit any standardized test scores, but I did take the SAT, I did take the ACT. My scores aren't the best, but I didn't submit them. So I think that might be changing for class of 2025, but I personally didn't submit any test scores. And I did that because, like you saw earlier, pretty much all the schools I applied to had me write extra stuff for my portfolio. These schools, they obviously know about each other, and so like their portfolio requirements were really hard to like transfer. So I did a lot of writing in my college application season. So I wanted to focus more time on building and revising a really strong portfolio versus doing that and taking tests, because it wasn't needed. But for my AP scores, for AP Biology, I scored a 1. For AP US History, which I'm really proud of, I scored a 4. And then for AP Physics, I scored a 1. Honestly, I'm not doing a STEM major anyways. It didn't really matter. I'm really proud of my AP US History score though. It's gonna get me out of history class. Love it. Okay, so we're gonna move on to essays and writing and things like that. Like I said, my experience with writing and essays is a little bit different because I had to do my Common App application and also extra portfolio requirements for different schools. So I'm going to speak to the Common App portion of it. Number 1 tip I have when you're doing writing: 1, start early, because you never know when you're going to be in a rut and when you don't feel like writing. And when you don't feel like writing, your writing usually is not salvageable. So I would definitely start early. It will give you a chance to have a lot of editing time, a lot of revision time, which is very much needed throughout the college application process, and get other people to kind of read your writing. You are always going to think the best of your writing, but giving it to someone that you trust and someone that knows you well definitely will help out with this process. Another tip I have with essays is make sure that you are writing creatively. This is obviously, you know, they want to see your personality, but also remember that you're selling yourself into these universities and you're marketing yourself, saying like this, I'm going to be a great addition to your campus. One thing I know while I was writing my application, I wanted to make sure I showed my personal background and show why I loved film and why I love writing for film, but also why I would be a great addition to USC. Why my voice and my presence is necessary to be at USC. I know it sounds kind of cocky, I know it sounds kind of like entitled, but you're really marketing yourself and really selling yourself into the university so they can know, hey, this is why you should be here on our campus. For Common App, for USC's Common App, they have just a few questions. For USC, the Common Application, there's a few parts to it. So the first part is obviously your personal statement. Big thing about personal statements is be very true and honest. Don't go for the cheesy things, and like I would definitely write about some of those unique personal qualities or a unique experience that really drives your passion for whatever you want to major in or whatever you want to pursue after high school. The second essay they have you write is pretty much talking about why do you want to major and what you're going to major in. And again, because I kind of went into it in my personal statement, I wrote more of a like humorous, light-hearted version of it in my short answer response. So be creative, be fun, but also be professional. Use academic language, use academic tone. That's very big. Please have people review your writing. With my college advisor, we went through like 3 rounds of revisions before like we called anything final. So yeah, definitely go through revisions while you're doing these. And then the last part of USC's application is short takes. So they'll actually like a couple of questions. Big thing about this is not, don't take this super serious. This is just for you to be funny and for you to show your personality and like be a little bit lighthearted. So I'm gonna read some of mine because I feel like I had some of the best responses. And this is the part where you can kind of let go and just really show your personality. So I'm gonna read some of mine. So for 3 words to describe yourself, I put the next Issa. I love Issa Rae. If you guys watched my last video about TV shows you should watch, I literally go into a whole like rant about Issa. Some of my other options were a Beyonce fan or a stationary fanatic. So I was just kind of showing my personality. So you don't have to do like courageous, confident, Like do a phrase or something, switch it up. So for if your life had a theme song, what would it be? I wrote Alien Superstar by Beyonce because I'm one of one. Dream Trip, I put Tokyo, Japan, best place for stationery, ... Oh, and the beautiful sights. USC, what I do enjoy about their short take answers, unlike most schools, they don't have a character limit, so these can be a little lengthy in explanation, but not too lengthy. I wouldn't go over like 1 sentence at all. Oh, and another thing about recommendations, I would definitely, for my application, I had to submit different recommendations for USC and then for my portfolio, but I would definitely recommend getting a teacher recommendation and then also someone that knows you outside of academics. So I had my English teacher write my regular recommendation, and then I had my mentor Tariq write my portfolio recommendation, just to kind of show different sides of who you are in the classroom and who you are outside the classroom. So definitely look at different people with different jobs and occupations that know you differently to write your recommendation letter so they can get another holistic view of you as a student, but also as a person. Moving on to extracurriculars, just so you guys can, again, to see what more my application looked like and to be a little bit more transparent with you guys. So first thing that was on my list was my honors mentorship program. I started an honors mentorship program at my school where I had upperclassmen, juniors and seniors, mentor underclassmen, freshmen and sophomores. Second thing I put on there was writing and content intern for Tariq Ali. At the time I had just started earlier that year, and I just wrote about some of the things and some of the activities that me and him would like work on, or some of the advice and guidance I was able to get through working with him. Third thing I put on there was this YouTube channel. This is one of the most consistent things that I could show on my application, and I really wanted to show how proud I was of it. After my YouTube channel, I had talked about the film society / film club. I kind of had my hand in playing. I talked about just some of the things we did and some of the missions. The next thing after that, I said I was a marketing director for a teen-led production company. I was a marketing intern for Damn Right Originals, and I just talked about some of the Instagram posts I made. This part for me was a little bit easier because some of these things were already on my resume, and so I was kind of able to copy and paste. After the marketing intern, I have brand ambassador for a bullet journal company. I also have head creative producer for Grind Universe Entertainment. Second to last, I have affiliate marketer for Archer and Olive. Last thing I had on there was high school math and science tutor for underclassmen. I know that was a long list of activities I just talked about, but there's a lot of activities that you do that you may not know can be qualified for the activities list. I know one of my friends, she put her big sister duties as a activity. So she talked about how she made sure her brother got to school on time, how she made sure the trash was taken out. There's a lot of things you can do, so be creative. Last but not least, I'm gonna go over the honors I put in the Common App. The difference with the honors and activity section, the order does not matter. So first honor I have is Governor's Honors Program, and I was a state level nominee for communicative arts. It is a statewide competition, and it's one of the highest academic recognitions in the state of Georgia. And then I have National Honor Society. There will be a lot of National Honor Societies on honors. One thing I did to make sure I kind of stood out with my National Honor Society, I listed my chapter specific requirements to join. Also have highest achieving magnet student, and I just kind of gave the details about how I received the award. And then last but not least, principal's honor roll. Again, I just talked about how I received the award and what were the qualifications and the requirements to receive the award. But that's it for my application. That's all of the things, that's all the things I wrote in my comment application. That's all of the stats I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was informational. I hope you learned something from it, and I hope I didn't scare you from the college process, made it seem a little bit easier. But yeah, that's it. If you guys want to get some more content, make sure you subscribe and like, and comment down below like the schools you're thinking about applying to, or like if you have any other questions about the USC application process. I'll be more than happy to answer them in the description box below. So make sure to follow me on my other social medias, which is at Anthony D. Clark, pretty much on Instagram, TikTok, everything is linked down below as well. I post more like day-to-day content on Instagram, like on my stories, things like that. And then I post more long-form content here on YouTube. I can't wait to continue my college series and show you guys some more of my college life and college vlogs and things like that. So stay tuned. I'm really excited. The next college video is actually gonna be really fun too. So just subscribe and turn your post notification bells on. That's it. So see you guys in the next one. Bye.